Y'all niggas should have blew up back then. I mean, I know at this point it doesn't fucking matter because the group's not together, but shit, I can still be mad for 10 years. Why the fuck not? What's going on, everybody? It's the Granddad of Granddad Wooly, and you are here again for another edition of CD Case Studies. Today, we're going into the book and talking about one of the best hip-hop groups to ever grace the fucking scene that unfortunately cut their careers short too soon. Well, not their careers, but the group's careers short too soon, and they were just hella fucking slept on, like hibernation fucking levels. Like, I still don't understand it to this goddamn day, but these motherfuckers, when they were like in their heyday, when they were at full force together, they was one of the best fucking groups and dropped some of the best work of the mid-2000s that I've ever fucking heard. Hands down, these motherfuckers was killing it. Just nobody fucking knew about it. Well, not a lot of people. And that's the fucking problem. That's the fucking problem. Talking about the group that don't exist no more, but I had to talk about it. The one, the only, Phonte, rapper Big Pooh, and Ninth Wonder together as Little Brother. So we're gonna go open the book right here. We're gonna talk about a couple projects from Little Brother that were some of my favorites. Just some albums that really just got me super fans of these motherfuckers. So the first album I'm gonna talk about is the album that pretty much I discovered Little Brother on. A lot of people discovered Little Brother from this album because it was their most, like, I guess, their biggest album and their most recognized album, but it wasn't their first one. Their first album was actually called The Listening, and that came out a few years prior, but this album right here is the one that everybody was talking about and had a lot of shit going for it, and that is the one, the only, The Minstrel Show. This album dropped in 2005 on ABB and Atlantic Records. It was actually the first album when Lil Brother signed to a major label deal. And this album right here had a lot going for it. It was pretty much one of the most critically acclaimed albums of 2005. It was getting high rankings on like XXL and The Source. People was fucking talking about this shit, saying this is one of the best albums of the year, and it pretty much fucking was. This album here, I have to say, is one of the best conceptual albums I've ever heard in my goddamn life. If you've not heard The Minstrel Show, basically it's set up like an actual TV show called The Minstrel Show that the members of Little Brother actually are fucking hosts of. And they just do a whole bunch of, it's like a variety show, a whole bunch of songs, but it has a real, like, you know, nigga-ish tendency to it. Like, it's filmed on a network called UBN, the You Black Nigga Network, and then they have these commercials and skits in there where it just sounds like them like radio commercials on like the black radio stations that just sound like straight up just like hood as shit, like Fifth and Fashion, which is fucking hilarious. That's like that sounds like a straight up like commercial that you would hear on the fucking radio or on a fucking black TV show. But when it comes to the music on this album, it is fucking top tier, top notch hip hop. Ninth Wonder, who handles most of the production on here, gives some of the most dopest soulful beats that he's ever created on this album. There's also Crisis on here, which I got introduced to Crisis from this album, who I also became a big fan of his production down the line. But rapper Big Pooh and Phonte, they were killing it on here. Lyrically, they were spitting gems. They were talking about everything from social commentary issues to just how they've been trying their hardest to make it in the music business and how hard it's been and the things they have to go through to get there, and pretty much where they're not there yet, but they feel like it's paying off as they thought it should. A whole bunch of fucking things going on in this album. It's very entertaining, it's very funny, it's very just dope. A lot of things about this album, has a lot of shining moments, which made it one of the best albums of the year. Now here's the story time, y'all. Let me tell you about Minstrel Show. Let me tell you a little story about how I came across this shit. So back then, like, okay, this is before YouTube, so it was like 2005. YouTube ain't like shoot out yet, so the only way you can get music videos is if you watch TV or if you went on this thing, if you had Comcast, called Music Choice. So from time to time, I would go on Music Choice and I would look at the music video section and the rap section to see what kind of new videos, stuff like that, that they usually don't play on TV. And I would always see this video that would say Little Brother loving it, and I was just like, who the fuck is Little Brother? But I just skipped over it. I would listen to every other thing that I recognized because I never knew who the fuck these motherfuckers were. So down the line, I had watched every fucking video, and the last video on the list before they updated the shit, because it took forever for Music Choice to update shit, was Little Brother loving it. So I said, fuck it, I'll watch the video, see what it's about. I turned on the fucking video, and then when I heard that fucking "How Could It Be," that fucking sample kicked in, and then when that fucking Ninth Wonder beat dropped in, I was like, oh my god. And I didn't even realize Ninth Wonder, because I knew who Ninth Wonder was, I didn't realize Ninth Wonder was a part of this group. And so they was like, it's Ninth Wonder. And I was like, yo, that's fucking Ninth Wonder. Like, hold the fuck up, I'm missing some shit. And then when Phonte came in with his verse, when Tay pulled his verses out, promoters pull their purses out, that money for a purchase out, the charge card that they swipe for the worst amounts, because this has been this, not person, now I'm not gonna keep, but basically that song fucking had me hooked. And by the time that video was fucking done, I was like, I fucked up. I shouldn't have avoided y'all niggas. Little Brother, I'm sorry, I apologize. I fucking found out where this album was, Minstrel Show. It had just dropped a little bit after that because it's been out for a hot minute, but I didn't know. I went to the store, copped this shit, and I didn't even know that the Minstrel Show, what the presentation of the album was gonna be. I just thought it was gonna be like a dope, like underground hip hop album. But when I heard the fucking intricacy of the album, the concept of it, the way that it was just put together, I was so fucking impressed with this fucking album. I mean, you got songs like Loving It, of course. You got the Cheating song, which is like the Ronald Isley parody. But you also have the songs like Beautiful Morning and The Becoming and Watch Me and We Got Next. And there wasn't a lot of features on this album either. I think they had like Yazarai. Yeah, I couldn't fucking pronounce her name for shit, but she was on there. Joe Scudder was on there and Darren Brockington. But there was mostly just Little Brother, and they fucking killed this shit. And I gotta say, Diary of a Mad Black Daddy is one of the funniest skits of all. That's one of the top 5 funniest skits on any fucking album I've ever heard. If you've never heard of Diary of a Mad Black Daddy, it comes on right after Loving It in the album. That shit has me dying every time I hear it, even to this fucking day. That shit's fucking crazy. I'm not even gonna spoil it. Just listen to the shit. If you don't laugh, you ain't got no fucking sense of humor, because that's one of the funniest goddamn things I've ever fucking heard. And even with all the highlights of this album, it still had a little bit of a controversy to it. BET would not play the video for Loving It because they said it was too intelligent. Like literally, they just said the shit was too fucking intelligent for their viewers, so they don't want to play the shit. What kind of bullshit is that? And they would not let them fucking play the shit, so it kind of halted the fucking process of it being put out to the right outlets, because I guess it's because it was some underground shit. They didn't know these niggas. They just had to say some other shit. But yo, I mean, the album was fucking great, and because of the fact that it was getting higher rankings than more established artists that were getting more shine, and they didn't want to do that, so they was kind of stifling Little Brother. So this is when Little Brother was already getting the shaft on that major label tip. I was pissed off about the shit, but the real niggas knew what this shit was. So if you've never heard this fucking album, you definitely gotta check it out. It is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Little Brother albums, because this is the first one I've ever heard. It's what I discovered Little Brother on, and it's just fucking dope. The next album I'm gonna talk about is the follow-up to the Minstrel Show, but it's also the album that dropped after Ninth Wonder had left the group, when he and Fonte had a bit of a falling out. But by the time this album dropped, they sort of kind of reconciled things, and everything was kind of smoothed over. So then they dropped the album Get Back. Now this is the burn copy of Get Back, because when it dropped, I bought it on iTunes. I bought the digital because I could not find a fucking physical copy of this shit, and it pissed me off. And I found the shit like way after the fact, but I was like, whatever, I already got the shit, so I just got a disc version of it. But basically, this album dropped in 2007, and like I said, Little Brother was pretty much just Fonte and Pooh at that point, but Ninth Wonder did have some production on here. He produced the song Don't Go Breaking My Heart, and that featured Wayne. Illmind did some production on here, and I actually met Illmind before. He's a cool dude. He actually liked my shit, and he actually gave me some props, so props to Illmind for giving props to the Granddad. Appreciate that. But it's just a real cool album. But even though it's a cool album, and it just doesn't have that same feel and appeal as, you know, the Minstrel Show, because of course Ninth Wonder's not there. And even at the end of this album, Fonte kind of says that when he's talking to another lady on this album, on the final track, he kind of says like that it's supposed to sound different because of the fact that Ninth really isn't here, and it's just a different vibe. But it is a very dope album, and if you've never heard Get Back, you definitely got to check it out after you check out the Minstrel Show, just to kind of see how things transition after Ninth Wonder left the group. But those are some of my favorite albums from Little Brother, y'all. But I also got some other joints. I got this dope joint right here, Injustice for All. Now this is a dope little mixtape right here. I copped this one out here. I found it by luck, and it's got a real cool track on it that I love. It's called Life of the Party, the remix. And the reason why I like the track so much is because Fonte's intro was so funny to me. He's like, "Girl, what do you mean you don't recognize me? I'm only the most famous rapper in your apartment complex." And for some reason, that shit just makes me fucking laugh every time, because that motherfucker just says it so like nonchalantly. But this is a dope little mix CD right here. A lot of cool cuts on here. So if you haven't heard this, check this one out. They also had a DJ Drama mixtape that was called Separate But Equal. That was dope. I mean, Little Brother had a lot of good stuff on there. Of course, check out the Chitlin Circuit mixtape. They had that. They had The Listening, which is their debut album, and then also their final album that I kind of waited. I didn't want to listen to it because I didn't want to accept the fact that Little Brother was actually fucking done, but it's called Left Back. I finally bought it. Like, I took 6 months for me to buckle down and just say, fuck it, I'm gonna get it, and I bought it on iTunes, and it's a pretty fucking dope album. It's the perfect way to close the album. But Little Brother, even though they're not together anymore, all the members are doing their own thing. Ninth is doing his thing over with Jamla. Fonte's got his thing going on with Foreign Exchange. He's actually got a new album about to drop, new rap album about to drop. And Big Pooh's doing his thing too. He's got his own albums and projects dropping. So everybody's doing their own thing separately. But, you know, a small part of me wants them to just come back once in a while for just a full-fledged track or like mixtape or project. That'd just be dope. I know it's not gonna fucking happen, but I can wish and I can fucking dream, right? That's me. That's what I fucking do. But that's gonna do it for today's CDK studies. I hope you enjoyed me talking about the legendary little brother who was just gone too soon and slept on too much. But they got a lot of dope work. Tons and tons of projects that you should definitely go back and check out if you've never listened to a Little Brother project. Rapper Big Pooh is dope. Fonte is dope, Ninth Wonder is dope, and they just put out a lot of quality and great work during the mid-2000s that I just think needs to be talked about and recognized more, because these niggas had something special. They was doing something that nobody else was really doing, and they had their own little thing, and it's just the fact that it couldn't blow up for some reason. They had everything going for them. They had the cosigns and the accolades and the critical acclaim, but it just seems the powers that be just did not want these niggas to blow up, so I mean, the shit didn't happen. It's unfortunate, but it's the fucking truth. Previous CDK study on the side, some fucking where you know how I do, as well as my latest single. Check those out, show them some love. And as always, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, Instagram, links in the description below, and subscribe. Button on the screen, button below, CDK studies twice a week, as well as Wooly reviews. Check that shit out, and my gaming channel. All that good shit's there, and I got nothing more to say. So until next time I take my leave, granddaughter, little brother, these motherfuckers were dope and super slept on. I mean, they doing their thing now separately, but like, I mean, they at least deserve one gold plaque. At least one. What the fuck? I'm out of here.